firing at civilians, like civilian casualties, definitely won't be happening under Democratic control. And you can look at this with during the yeah, look at all the time like before the Obama presidency. Yes, we had airstrikes on Hamas, right? But it wasn't the casualties wasn't as severe when it comes to civilian casualties.
Yeah, but the insurance really was 75% of that.
Even during before that,
He done killed the room. I really did. I really did destroy the chillers room. Normally it's like
also when
30 deep, but I ran everybody out.
when civilian casualties happened, we applied the pressure to Israel, and they backed off a little bit. Now, right now, they have free reign to do whatever they want to do because we allowed them. The Republicans allowed them. Because let's be honest, right? Gaza is very very rich in some minerals that we want, and while we're getting closer and closer towards the superconductors, we're getting closer and closer towards like getting more like those kind of get that kind of tech. Gaza's a little more. Gaza's a really great spot to be at for us to have it. So I don't know. Like I said, I do agree. Like it's not gonna be it's gonna be lesser two evils, right? Quote unquote. A lot of people are saying that, but I think it'll be a lot more humane than what's happening now.
I agree. When they launched the Beeper attack, I gotta say that was dastardly because a lot of them men that died, their husbands and uncles and cousins of the women. So you gotta kill the terrorists, but the terrorists are also just people living with their peoples. And so when you blow them up with a pager or a stick of dynamite in a goat's ass, they're killing innocent people too. So we need peace and stillness in this earth, not war and death and mayhem and chaos. God bless all and have a great Monday.
Yeah, I agree with much of what Hess said. Like Israel's lost their narrative. They built upon a narrative and it
Fucking El
works.
Normo
Not
left.
just now that they're the problem, but from the inception of Israel, they've been the problem. It's always been about land theft and genocide. That was from the beginning. So this is just the final lesson. And I think Joe Biden has to live with that shit because other presidents have said no to Israel. And when they haven't been doing hack what they're doing, like he literally gave them the keys for the final to exterminate people. And it's awful. I think I'm gonna vote for Kamala, but I actually understand why people in Michigan that have family there, there's no difference. Their family's gonna die anyway. Like literally. So I understand why they're not voting for them. I think we should. I think there's a lack of empathy when we say, why are these people in Michigan doing this? It don't matter. Their family's being wiped out by Republicans and Democrats. Why should they give a fuck? Because we're asking them to care about us without us caring about them and their plight, their family. I think that's kind of selfish.
I'm sorry, but your perspective is deeply flawed and your information.
Bro, I don't care what.
You don't have to interrupt. You don't have to interrupt.
El Normo has a right to have his own opinion. Respect his perspective.
There's not an inch that's been stolen from anybody. When Israel was born, it was buying land.
King Nigga Natty has arrived. The Nigga Natty.
Because of our historical connection to it and because it's our refuge. When the Arabs attacked, we have every right to conquer the land from which they attacked us. That includes Judea and Samaria, and that includes Gaza, which was part of Egypt until they attacked us. Then we took Gaza and Sinai. When we made a peace deal with Egypt, we gave them back Sinai. We offered them Gaza. They didn't want it. We got stuck with it. Eventually, in 2005, we left Gaza. To my knowledge, there is no minerals in Gaza that anybody wants. There is offshore gas, subterranean, that is shared by the Palestinian Authority in Israel because it lies somewhat in what they're calling Palestine and somewhat in Israel. So there's no need for that land. We don't need it for anything. This was strictly to wipe out Hamas. And again, the ratio of civilian to combatant deaths is the lowest in military history. We're doing everything possible to minimize that. And you'll notice the death toll hasn't gone up in a couple months because now we're strictly concerned with taking out the tunnels on the border of Egypt and Gaza. The reason why America does this is because it's in our interest, not because of anything, not because of lobbying or Zionists. And when the U.S. has told us not to do stuff, most of the time we go ahead and do it anyway if it's in Israel's interest. So those are some of the misunderstandings and misconceptions. The safest and best thing to do.
Stop counting. That's why it hasn't gone. They stopped. They killed the minister.
No, it's from Hamas.
Stop.
That is incorrect, sir.
It is
incorrect.
Look it up. Look it up.
There's no looking it up. You make up something that's not a fact.
So they're bombing. Now. Nobody
It hasn't gone up because
Nobody
it
died.
hasn't gone up now. I beg your pardon. What's your
10 people died the other day. How's it not going up? People, they're still bombing. How are they?
We're now focusing on. We're able now to isolate the military. We're no longer in bombing structures majorly. We're now taking out all the little details. Now that we're in there, we have control. It's much more targeted. A few terrorists here, a few tunnels there, and mainly taking out those tunnels and their all their weapon stashes. We've taken up so many weapons you have no idea, and we're analyzing the weapons. I assure you it's no genocide, God forbid. If it were, you would hear from me first, because that's the last thing the nation wants.
But that's just like your opinion, Uncle Normo.
The last thing we want is to do to others what was done with us, because we're better than that.
But abusers abuse.
Is he kidding right now? Oh my God.
Nah, man.
You can take what I said to the bank. You can take it to the bank.
No.
That's a Jewish Zionist bank, of course.
Listen, if you have facts
I
to
would never
contradict
take
me,
what you said to the bank because I don't
You
like
don't need
getting
to.
funds and overdrawn accounts. So you're.
your metaphor has fallen.
No, he
I
bankrupt.
do not lie. And the proof of this is people say lie, but they never, ever dispute one single
They
thing.
say die, die, die.
Adrian, why are you doing this?
Die, lie, die. I want to sing a Nagun. Are you guys open to that?
Okay, you might want to send it back.
I'd rather listen to him say it.
Me too.
Well, then you have some sort of bias, and I can't help it.
Yeah, I do. I hate white supremacists. You're white supremacist.
No, they got Jewish derangement syndrome. They need Diddy derangement syndrome.
It's called Star or David white
It
supremacy.
sounds stupid when you say.
And you're
It
disgusting.
sounds stupid when you say that. There's no
No,
different race between
stupid
Jews
is
and
how you sound.
Arabs.
Stupid is how you sound. Yeah, you are.
There's no
You're
race.
racist.
Yeah, you're a terrorist. There's no
You're white
race.
supremacist.
Hey, guys, real quick.
You just repeat the same
Real quick,
dumb thing over and over again.
Real quick, real quick. You mean how you do? Real quick. So, God.
See, this is a
Okay.
2-year-old.
It is too early to be this aggressive. Please. I'm just getting my coffee.
I agree. I don't think El Normo has said the Shema yet this morning. Shall we go ahead and say it together, El Normo? You want to put on tefillin?
No, not here, Adrian.
Hold on in a minute.
So, it's very important that when we have this
He hasn't. I knew it.
normal, right? He said what he wanted to say, right? And what we should do now is refute the points, refute the wrong points, very, very illogical points, but let's attack those points themselves. Because if we start attacking the person, the message is lost. And they walk away and say, oh, this is an echo chamber. This is how, when we have ignorance come on stage or we have misinformation come on stage, this is how it spreads.
We get it, man. Hez, you say the same thing in every room. Why don't you just dispute what he said? I mean, I know you didn't take notes, and now you're re-hypnotizing us.
Listen, Adrian, I know you want to peacock this morning, but please, God.
I ain't peacocking, man.
So listen, what we're gonna do, God, is what I want you to do is try to I'm gonna let y'all have this one-on-one real quick, right? Refute the points he made. They're wrong. I agree.
You ain't gotta explain to us how a debate works, man.
You're not moderating the room.
No. I'm not trying to moderate the room. I'm not trying to moderate the room.
And if anybody wants to attack El Normo, be quiet and let it happen. Next.
Well, somebody said lie. Pick one sentence that I said, and I'm happy to go into it with you and prove what I said. It's not even
Exactly. That's how a debate works.
The first line was that nobody's dying anymore. They're still killing. Again, there's administrative balance. Can I finish talking? Can you shut up when I'm talking, please? No. I need you to shut up. I heard what you said. I don't need to repeat it. I heard you. Okay.
You misquoted me. I didn't
No.
say
That's
you
okay.
lied.
Just
I
be
said
quiet.
you don't.
Please be quiet. Please.
I said you don't
Please.
see the
You
death toll
mentioned
going up. Calm down.
the body count and stopped at 40,000.
I said
The reason why it stopped at 40,000. The reason why it stopped at 40,000, it's not going up, is because the Gaza ministry, the people responsible for keeping the count of the dead bodies, right? And again, to understand this, in order to get a dead body, you need first of all a whole body, right? Someone to identify it, right? So first of all, there's nobody to identify the dead body because most of them are under rubble to the extent that they are, right? And then you don't have, again, and the Gaza ministry that kept the count are no longer there. That they've been bombed to smithereens, so they can't.
There are 2 million
Therefore, and the count stopped at 40,000, right? And they're still bombing. Okay, so once we actually show the truth, it's going to be no less than 100, 200,000 people already dead. And again, and that's why we talk people under rubble. No, yeah, because okay, so why? So explain us why the death count has not risen above 40,000 in months.
Okay.
It's been at 40,000 for like the last 3 months.
First of all,
Okay, and meanwhile, the brutal Israelis are still killing. So how's that?
Okay, happy to address it. Number one, when you take out somebody from the health ministry, if it's true, I haven't checked it, it's easily switchable to somebody else to count. So, but what you said makes zero sense. Somebody else could pick up that job. It's not that complicated.
There is no Gaza health ministry anymore. It's gone. Who's
It doesn't need
somebody?
to be a health ministry to keep track.
That's who was doing it. That was keeping the count of the dead bodies. My God.
Okay. It's your, and so the next person can't do it? Why not? You tell me. Why can't
Maybe
somebody else
because
do it?
Because they're still getting bombed. There's
Okay, they were getting bombed the whole time. What is suddenly stopping them from increasing the death count?
there's no government. There's no body to do it. There's no organization that was once doing the count. Everyone in Gaza is a victim right now. So there's no
who's running the show in Gaza? If that's who's running the show?
Israel. You know that.
Israel's the case, then why
Trump and Diddy are in prison.
Why haven't they surrendered?
Holy shit.
What you said makes no sense. Okay, I know you don't know, because what you said makes no sense. So the reason why the death count isn't going up is because we're doing targeted killings of militants now, because we have control of the region, and we're focusing on taking out the tunnels. We're doing pinpoint strikes now.
Any other time,
Well, it doesn't usually go up by onesie, twosie. It doesn't go up by onesie, twosie. It goes up if there's something major. And by the way, you'll notice there's no more charge that civilians are being killed because we're no longer bombing on that level. We're now on the targeted strategic surgical strike mode. And we're really also focusing, you may have noticed, on Hezbollah to the north. These are the reasons why. We have control of Gaza. We're taking out the lingering. We've taken out the brigades in Gaza City and Khan Yunis, and now we're focusing on Rafah, which is the last remaining brigades. So if there were
concentrated. So most of the citizens now are concentrated.
No, they're in refugee camps outside of Rafah. We moved them in a humanitarian
Rafah
move.
is the most populated
We moved
area of Gaza right now, and you're bombing that, and you're saying that the death toll is not going up.
We moved the civilians out. We're taking out the tunnels and the border with Egypt, sir.
All right, so the last major strike on the refugee camp, how can those numbers then add to the count?
Because it's only a handful here and there. We don't go up by
You know what? It's amazing how we let this person come and take over the room.
Not taking it over. We're having a conversation.
No, you're not having a conversation. You want it
I'm
to be
talking
your
to God.
conversation. You need to be
I'm not talking to you.
before I boot you. The number one, you come and take over the room. You don't allow one-on-one this, but you're talking over him. I'm listening. I have 2 motherfucking ears. All right? You're over talking him, and you're trying to dispute everything he says. The bottom line for me, I'm not in your region. I don't know nothing about all these points you're bringing up. I will admit that right now. But what I do know is that the lies, you went in there and bombed up them people for no reason, mass bombing them. If you were so superior to the
reason was to
now
defeat Hamas.
you're over talking me. Now you're over talking me. See what I'm saying? But you can't hear yourself because you're so busy trying to sell your propaganda. You can't even hear your own goddamn self. You went over there and bombed them people up, them innocent civilians. You even bombed your own fucking hostages. You're a motherfucking liar. You want everybody in the United States to eat up your propaganda. For
This is just a
destruction.
personal attack.
I
It's
don't
just a
care. Well, then
conversation.
you know what you can do? You see those little yellow fingers up at the top? You can
No.
exit stage motherfucking left.
No, because I have an
Those
eye.
aren't yellow. Those are white finger emojis.
You can just kick him to
I
the
don't give
goo
a
while you're
damn.
talking.
No, I have
Just
a
for
black.
real though, every room he goes into, he can't just, he's over talking this person who's trying to talk. He's trying to make it seem like, oh,
Don't you know that El Normo is a civil rights activist and helped the ADOS N-words in this country
yeah,
achieve great
everything he
things
says
on
is
MTV
right.
and other
Everything he
places?
says is right, okay? So fuck him. I don't know him.
Hey, Lisa. So I got this. This is a question I got, man. For the sake of the fucking world, right? Is it worth potentially throwing us into a nuclear world war, rather than just coming up with a fucking solution with these people?
You never heard people complain about nuclear bombs going off.
Oh shit! God damn, I'm talking.
You know, it seems to me like there's an anger management problem that people don't discuss on this app.
Hold on.
Sit him
God
down.
damn. Shit. Fuck.
Adrian, please, this is your first.
I understand, but there's an anger management problem, and the moderator's got to talk about it.
And the anger management is speaking while someone else is speaking. Otherwise, you will be moved to the audience. Thank you. Chico.
Gee, we've had
I was
numerous
still fucking talking.
Calmly, please.
God damn. Just shut the fuck up while I'm talking. It's not that fucking hard. For the sake of plummeting us into a nuclear world war, is it not worth just coming to a fucking solution? And I think this is a two-state solution here. What I'm hearing is either everybody gets killed on one side, or everybody finds a way to coexist on that fucking land. I know too many people who are in armed services. Hell, and every single damn one of us knows somebody who lives next door to us or a family or anybody who could be affected by whatever the fuck is coming down the road. Like, this shit is wild. This shit is crazy. Can we not just come to a fucking solution to peaceably end this shit?
I think we gotta accept this some truths. Like even when we say a two-state solution, like one two-state solution, like that's not even possible anymore. Like it's literally not possible. There's not enough contiguous land between the West Bank and Gaza to create a state. Like that is like that's one. Two, the people of Israel. I'm not just talking about Bibi. The people of Israel are vehemently against that shit. If you poll Israel right now, like they might be protesting DB and shit right now. It's not because of what he's doing to the Palestinians. It's not like he would have a bigger protest on his hands if they decided to cede land and territory and sovereignty to the Palestinians. Like we gotta accept something. We gotta accept Israel for what it is. It is an apartheid.
You got a lot of
We wanna
channels.
make sure that they remain an apartheid state.
This is
Like,
false. There's no
Shut the
apartheid.
fuck up, man. Shut your bitch ass up, man. I'm talking to you. Like you say that Norm is the perfect.
But he's in the goo, God. He's in the goo. I get it.
He's a perfect representation. He's
Corey did it.
He does not. He's racist. He does not respect the human rights of other people, other non-white, non-Jewish people. He doesn't respect it, and that's how Israel.
Yeah, but now you projecting your inner feelings and thoughts.
I'm thinking history. From their own, the founders of Israel will tell you this. Literally, this is not stuff.
Literally.
It's not my fault that you don't read.
Oh, I read the Bible, and Moses is the founder of Israel. So what did Moses say? Well, what does Moses have to say?
What the fuck, Moses? Like why? Like Moses. I'm not a Christian, right? I'm not a Jewish. I'm not Muslim. I don't give a fuck about what the Bible says. That has no bearing on. I should not be ruled by the Bible.
I know, but you just said I should read books. That's a good book. It's called the Bible. Maybe you should read it, God, because I'm pretty sure you're supposed to be the author of the Bible, God.
It's a great book for those that choose that religion. Great, fine, good for you. But as a non-Christian, I do not need the Bible dictating the laws of the land here. Just like the Palestinians, they do not need the Talmud or the Torah, cherry pick scriptures to demonize them, to harm them, and to make them second-class citizens. That is what Israel wants. That is what Israel is protecting. And
God has a stick up his ass. He's angry at them Jews.
Yeah, so they're just like
but with other people who think that they want to make moral proclamations and they go along. Some of it is based on them just saying it's practical, forgetting the extra.
Yeah, but obviously an Eric Harris is going to think like we're not really morally responsible.
Oh yeah, but I'm just thinking the reason why I brought that thing is that I think this helps. So good. That was fire.
Yeah. I'm actually, sometimes I'm involved in just, a part of a feminist campaign here in Southeast Asia. I know what you guys thinking. Hold on, guys. Just relax, guys. Relax. Okay. Look, there are women with real problems here in Thailand and Malaysia and Indonesia, or even the Philippines. A lot of single mothers in the Philippines. Teenage pregnancy is very high in the Philippines. Women at the age of 15, 16 are all pregnant, and the guy's just left. The guy doesn't want to take any responsibility, and the woman have to raise the baby alone. And this is a serious issue. And it's the same thing like in Thailand as well. We have teenage pregnancy, and that's a gender gap disparity going on here in Thailand. So like I talk to all the families. Some of them are they can be a bit ridiculous with their demands. Some of them are reasonable. Some of them, very, very reasonable people. Like, I really feel like
but here's the problem, right, Ari? Like, when women chose those bad men to date and to have children with without getting married, A, they already chose the wrong man. And B, if you're trying to mitigate some kind of post-child relationship with them, it's not going to work out well because he was the type to leave you in the first place. Correct? So the only way to minimize single parents and women being scammed by shitty men is to have arranged marriage. If you're not willing to go back to arranged marriages and shotgun marriages, any liberal policy you try is going to be ineffective until you get the AI who's able to follow every man, and then like once you have that system, you'll be fine, I guess. And then you'll be, that's a whole different system. But the system we have right now, unless you're willing to, I don't know, literally jail these guys and then like let them out to go work and they come back, something like that. You don't want these men to be in these women's lives.
Gio, though, you're looking at it as like a one-off. If you look at it in terms of a herd population, if you want to control the herd population, you have to cull them or get them in a cult. And so the reason why there's so many of these, in
What are you talking about, dude?
I'm saying that in the Philippines, you're talking about a Neolithic people who are not a part of Western religious marriage standards. They're basically, it's like the ghetto.
Right, but that's happening in America too, amongst white empires.
Yeah, very much.
Right, the problem is, right, it's not just the Neolithic ghetto who do this. It's your own people in America, your own white that used to be pretty decent people, generally. They're not even practicing their own values anymore. And they're not enforcing it anymore. That's the problem, right? They've become consumers since the 1940s and 50s. That's the real problem.
Well, if we were to look at zip codes per capita and look at the 10 richest cities or towns in America, and we were to isolate the white population in those high net worth areas, I think you would see a very high percentage of marriage success and family. I mean, I think that is probably what's really happening in the white
Right, but
upper elite.
yes, but those people don't need. They already do practice arranged marriage, dumbass, right?
Right.
The rest of the society should be practicing arranged marriage, correct?
But
And
not
only the good families should be able to have arranged marriages at all. People who are pretty shitty at raising kids should not be able to have marriages anymore.
well, there's arranged marriage solicitations in newspapers, and that's a cultural thing. White people don't put solicitations for arranged marriage in newspapers.
Right, but this is why they're in the mess they're in with their shitty families.
I agree. I mean, white America is completely, obliterated. It's finished.
Yeah. You guys don't even have an upper elite class that's functional anymore. That's conservative. You only have like.
But I really dislike people who talk about white America because to me, they're just Jew-hating racists.
Well, I'm not. You know I love America, and you know I love the white people. I just wish they would be a little bit better.
What about the Jews?
Fuck up
Do you
before it's-
love the Jews too?
Shut up, David. Shut your mouth. Fucking annoying. But I can't force the white
Yeah, all you can do is pray to Jesus for their souls. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess maybe. Yeah. That's why the white book is of that.
You get shunned by white people for like pointing out that they're like basically liberal and they're ruling the country.
Yeah, people like Rico are a dying breed.
Yeah, he's very rare. I mean, but he did, I've met him in person, and, everyone has their own difficulties in life, no matter what situation you're in. I know very rich people that suffer from terrible depression, and they're really rich. I mean, hundreds of millions, and they still suffer from depression.
I didn't know you met. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, because depression to me is a void in your soul. I mean, you have to essentially psychologize your way out
We've
of.
been sidelined. We've been sidelined by you. Me and Ari were having a conversation and you sidelined.
Sorry about that.
Point about the liberal feminist women in the Philippines. Like, I get it, but what you're going to start realizing as time goes
I
forward.
hypnotized, sidelined him.
So there's already a trend with this with women in America, especially Gen Z, Gen Alpha women, are saying like, why are there so many unnecessary sex?
Look at that Janis Joplin photo. Wasn't
So now
Janis
it's like
Joplin had like
Gen
such an
Z and
ugly
Gen Alpha
face,
women are realizing
but
that
she
there's an
was pretty
unnecessary
fashionable. You gotta give it to
sexualization
her.
in the movie
If she was only hot,
this is
she'd be
like
like a supermodel rock star.
and they
Instead,
find it weird, right? And to
she's
me,
like an
that's
ugly
a
rock star.
conservative reaction.
But maybe she was beautiful, but she probably didn't do her
Sexuality.
makeup. You see that photo? No makeup
Another
in
interesting
Janis's
thing
photo
that's
though.
happening
If
is
she had
that in
makeup, she'd
online
look better because it's like
on
painting a clown.
websites and forums, the women are asking for more censorship of young men, for example, who are too spicy, right? Who are just being demeaning to them.
Divine
It's
spicy.
like who are purposely just calling women bitches and whores for no reason, basically. Just because you're online. And we have the incel men like that in Korea, right? I agree. Traditionally and conservatively, we would tell them they need to all shut the fuck up, right? We wouldn't allow that historically.
Your birth rate in Korea is fucked. Isn't it like 0.9 per 2 people?
What does that have to do with what I'm talking about right now?
It doesn't. I'm just curious.
He triggered Gio. Gio's getting triggered. How angry can we make Gio?
Hold up. All right, yes, you are being a faggot. Stop that shit. You know me better than that. Stop being a faggot.
Curious, right?
Right? You're just curious, right? You're just curious something why you want to talk about your Korean fertility rate.
Sensitive stuff.
Yeah,
I like Korean.
no, Rico. Hey, Tom.
Gio, this show is called How Angry Can We Make Gio? That's the name of the show.
Guys, I'm anyways, I dare you to PTR a selfie of your face of yourself right now.
I dare you to take a selfie of yourself. Oh my God, that's a funny line to say. Next beautiful chick I see on the street or at a bar, I'm gonna be like, "Excuse me, can I ask you a question?" And then I'm gonna say, "I challenge you to take a selfie of yourself right now." We made it full circle. We made it full circle, and that's when I start clicking on my own rooms after I can't find anything else that's exciting or interesting.
Hey, King, let him finish. I want to hear it. Okay.
So, I think one of the biggest misconceptions in the orientation that most people have of American history is that once 1776 came about, is that the so-called American government was in charge of the North American continent, which is far from true, right? Which is why you have to study the history of this land and the wars in American imperialism, so you can understand how the territories were set up prior to these people coming into power, which really didn't fully happen into the early 20th century, right? So that's why we have to learn, right? We cannot take on the minds of people who are misinformed. You have to do your own work. You have to do your own due diligence, right? Because without doing your own due diligence and sourcing material and knowing the origin of the things that you speak about, then you're always going to be misinformed because you're taking on the school of thought of a man who's teaching you who could possibly be misinformed as well.
Moderators, this is Adrian Dittman. Put me in the queue.
Eloquently spoken. Now, I'm going to tell you from my black experience. I took a trip from New York to Oakland, California by car. When I got to Ohio, there was a town there that refused to serve me. They ignored me. When I got to Nevada at a stop, they thought I was going to eat in the food area and sectioned it off. This was last month. Okay, I have it on video. No one in that town looked like me when I got to those areas. After a while, we decided not to stop because we met a trucker that told us out of his own mouth, y'all be careful around this area. So I don't know what that has to do with what you're saying when there are places today, because of the color of our skin, we're going to experience racism. You other brothers, remember when we did the tabernacle in Alabama, and we drove by those cotton fields there where actual slaves were in. We tried to go into those stores, and a lot of people experienced the same thing. They're not used to seeing people of color in those communities, and they were very disrespectful even to the women. And one of the parks that we were in, because we had a gathering, they wrote in huge letters, "Go home, niggas." Y'all remember that? Yep. Okay, so he's telling us now that there's some type of economical and ignorance on our part because we don't know history. Meanwhile, what we're talking about, most of the people who have come on stage have experienced it with their own black eyes in their black heads. So I don't know, this has nothing to do with being misinformed.
But man, you just saying you could get a hot dog, a cheeseburger, or a pickle. I mean, that ain't racism, man. They just don't like you. They modded me.
I just wanted to use the restroom. And it was crystal clear that they didn't want black people there. So we're not talking about...
Well, what did you want them to do? Roll out a red carpet and say, welcome?
States that have been given their actual eyewitness accounts all night, and it had nothing to do with your assessment or your statements that were...
Hot dogs and pickles.
Uneducated in certain areas, or we were misinformed by the media. We're talking about things that we saw with our own eyes. Even within this week, there's 2 cases of 2 black men being hung, and the media and law enforcement try to say it was a suicide with no evidence to the suicide. Okay, it's been happening all over more frequently than we would like, and for some reason, when black people get caught in the wrong town, they get put down. So I don't know where you're getting this assessment from of us being misinformed or uneducated. We're talking about eyewitness experiences. There's a lot of men on the panel who are truckers, and they can tell you based on their experience what they dealt with. I'm not on the road a lot, okay? But my past few long-distance experiences were just what these people were saying, and that's the perspective we're speaking from. Not from analysis or a place of miseducation. We're speaking from eyewitness accounts and experiences. I mute my mic.
So, my question for you, Black Jack, is...
Wait, let me just say this as well. Jay-Z must be well informed too, because he wrote a song, Still a Nigga. Why would he write that? Why would he write that? I know he's very educated. I know he's very informed. 50 Cent saying the same stuff. You gotta watch who you talk to. You gotta wait.
You're talking about celebrities. Those people aren't even real.
Hold on. They got money.
They got money.
They got power.
Hold on one sec. The people we're talking about are millionaires. Kanye West, when he said he was going DEFCON 3 on Jewish people for their mistreatment, it cost him hundreds of millions of dollars. They didn't listen to his complaints of mistreatment and racism. They fined him and took money from him. Kyrie Irving, because of a tweet, experienced the same thing under white supremacy. Jewish people and white basketball handlers told him, you will
Okay, everybody, this has been Israel Politics and Propaganda. Janice Voss. I hope you have a great day. Talk to you soon.
I couldn't imagine walking around knowing I'm one of the most feared men in the world. I don't know what would happen to my ego. I'll be bullying me, so I already know.
You think he do that?
The way I seen him on It Is What It Is, the damn right he do that. Look, he'll tell you with such a straight face, like, I'll kill you with my hands. He won't think about it. Like, he's not joking.
Yeah, he told that one dude, I'm voting for Trump. What you gonna do about it? And then the dude tried to put a little small talk in on him. Tyson was gonna get him.
He talked about Trump, what it is, and had everybody quiet. What, you gonna challenge his vote?
Yeah, he said, I'm voting for him. What you gonna do about it? The guy said didn't know what to say.
Well, y'all, it's 9:14. Gotta get to work. So you made it back safe, though, Travis, right?
Made it where I go? Made it back where? I don't know.
You right.
I'm in the woods right now, so I was gonna say I don't know.
Oh, okay.
He means he's in his backyard by the tree.
Yeah, that's what she said. All right, so I'm gonna catch y'all later. I'm trying to do a little work. Get my life together. Before I gotta go pick up this munchkin. I'll catch y'all tomorrow. Peace out.
Cheers.
Y'all have a good one.
Right? I look at it as something else. I'm not gonna say what it is. Because one may look at it as day and night, right?
The best experts are called to teach the leadership about anything that they can learn. Did you know that when we went into Afghanistan, none of the experts in America who are actual experts in Afghani culture were called upon the entire time? What does that say about the leadership of our country? That's pretty.
They're criminals.
Like government, right, where they actually call upon some experts to understand what they're getting into. They didn't have the
incompetency
that with Afghanistan. You know, I mean, that's kind of crazy, right?
Criminal incompetency.
And then, like, when you talk about how, you know, it's unfair for Middle Eastern countries for women to wear burqas and hijab, what if, like, you don't know how bad their incel men are, and if they actually stopped wearing burqas and the government weren't, and the Muslim governments weren't successful enough to have any authority anymore, do you understand, like, what you could unleash to these women, right?
So there's an organization called Boko Haram in Nigeria, and you know they're a Muslim organization, and they are raping women. They're raping women wearing hijab. It doesn't change the outcome of rape. Like they're still raping women wearing hijab.
You can't stop rape completely. I don't understand.
Wait, but
under liberalism. So
no, I'm just saying the organization Boko Haram, despite being considered
right. I'm not. Yes, but I'm talking about like the average man in society raping the average woman in society. I'm not talking about a bunch of radicals, right? I'm trying to prevent the most amount of rape happening in society to reduce them and
Yeah, but average men don't rape average women because that's what makes them average. It takes criminals and usually gang members and people who are not from that culture or country to commit rape. So if you, it's those are that's who's doing
Precisely.
it. It's immigrants. Majority in
Exactly.
all these in all these European countries that are now flooded with Muslims. It's Muslim men from Syria, Afghanistan, etc. that are getting their dick
Exactly.
licked.
Pakistan.
Yeah, they're aggressive psychopaths and they're criminals, and they need to be imprisoned and beheaded and deported. I mean, it's a Western war, and if governments don't wake up, which means that new people have to go into the government. I mean, I live in Chicago where we have a communist in charge of the city now. He just got rid of what's called ShotSpotter. That alerts us to where shootings are, and he got rid of it. He just did not renew the contract. So now, hundreds upon hundreds of murders and shootings, there's no data on any of it. He also got rid of our gang database. So Chicago is now a completely lawless city. Not your exhaust cap or your exhaust pipe, your fuck, what's that thing called? Anyways, what I'm saying is the crime is
Say
so
what you want, Ari.
huh?
I'm asking Ari say what he want because he's saying that conservative people don't operate their community well and rape happens, right? Is that your argument, Ari?
I'm not saying they're rapists. I'm just showing the results. There are, conservative organization and conservative society, like extremely conservative, like in Central Asia, that oppress women. And
They're not conservative. The Soviets have removed arranged marriages, man. That's what you don't understand. They were communist countries, bro. Even Chinese society is conservative compared to American society, but still, it's still a liberal fucking country, bro.
What part of the four old being destroyed do you not understand, Ari? You think that was just
Isn't communism very dangerous because it's essentially an atheistic society? I mean, isn't that one of the major reasons why?
religiously atheistic, but they turned their ideological party line into the new religion.
Right. It's a cult then of personality.
No, but all liberal nation states are a cult around a new identity formed with the loyalty of the nation state. So all liberal nation states are psychotic thing. You're worshiping the ideology of the state rather than anything. Hey Sam.
But isn't North Korea a very conservative country?
Hold up. Let me explain this so you understand what I'm saying, okay? This is a quote from Joseph de Maistre explaining what I'm trying to explain to you, but he's so much more eloquent, I'm going to let him explain it. And by the end of it, I just want you to answer, do you understand what I'm saying when I say even nation states are religions that are, where the state has become the new religion? That's what a nation state is, right? Like in America, right? You know how important the story of the American flag is, for example, right? Adrian?
Oh, I think I understand what you're saying, but what I think you're saying is brands. Like people like a hive, they surround a brand, and that brand becomes the identity.
Yeah. Yes. And to liberals, the nation state is the only brand left because they've gotten rid of the church as the previous. It's a corporation without anything else. Correct. So that's why I say all nation states are liberal. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But when it was successful, like Britain, they had certain conditions that made it more successful than others. That's why.
But America allows the proliferation of brands, and that's how you generate economic growth and a powerful country by letting freedom, be free, by letting people be free to do what they want to say, how they want to organize, how they want to live their lives. I mean, that freedom allows for incredible growth as opposed to restriction and censorship and control at the state-run level, to a high degree. I mean, that's really, if you look at the
But
American,
that only works without liberalism. That's the problem, right? So that
right, it's conservative freedom, which is republicanism.
That only works when your group, once you establish a town, can keep out people that would destroy your town for why it's free. So if I made an Irish
My families on my mother's side are English and German, and then my dad's side are Ukrainian
Oh my
Jews.
God, too complicated. All right, let's say you were like Anglo, right? Jesus Christ. Let's say you were Anglo and you wanted to join this town, but you didn't want to follow Catholicism. I would have to. In my society, you would either have to convert to Catholicism to join, and then have their blessing to join, ask their permission to join, if they say yes. Or the other thing is you could live there as a second-class citizen without having to convert to Catholicism, but you have to follow all the social norms that they establish, right? That is the only way we can have each our own area, and no one can interfere, and then you can just have your Quaker area, your Puritan area, etc., etc. The moment you allow freedom of movement as a liberal idea in society, you allow the ability for any groups of massive people, of like 3,000 to 5,000 people, to just bum rush your town and destroy it, and there's nothing you can do about it.
On top of that, like, well, basically the Civil Rights Act, I think, was one of the big, I don't know, shifts
Rules,
where,
yeah, that allowed that.
yeah,
Yeah.
you couldn't, you couldn't just have your Irish neighborhood or whatever neighborhood.
Right.
It was like, oh yeah, any little, even
Anybody should be able to
every
move
little
in
business.
without your okay, as long as they can afford to move there, right? That's it.
Well, let me ask
Businesses
you.
couldn't just keep it like to their community.
Yes, for their own.
Every institution, every business. You know, the only thing is like private clubs, and even they had to like say they weren't. You know, they're just like, oh, we just have some arbitrary.
Even men's spaces. You know how women yell
Right.
on Twitter will make fun of men and be like, well, why don't you make your own men's private spaces? You called it sexist, you fucking retard. You destroyed every male institution for the last 60, 100 years, you fucking retard. You destroyed every male space. The gym used to be a male space, co-edified. Bars used to be a male space, co-edified. Hello?
Yeah, that's a good thing,
Hello?
Gio. That's a good thing.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Well, if you're an incel, it's a bad thing. If you like women, it's a good thing.
No, it's okay to have co-edified. Hold up. It's okay to have co-edified bars if you have male-only bars and female-only bars as well. That's actually better.
You still have the male sauna.
Yeah, that's true. There's a sauna here in
Why do you have to
Chicago.
make it gay, bro?
Let me ask you this debate hypothesis. How do you rationalize or how do you debate this? So if you say that Israel is, you know, an ethno-religious state, it's Jewish.
No. You can go to join another room. There's an Israel versus Palestine room literally healthy.
No, I was going to ask about Catholicism because the corollary is the Catholic Church, meaning that is its own country, though it's not really like a nation state, but I guess it really is. I guess what I'm saying is that compare and contrast. Really, there's only four major ethnicities, which is African, European, the Americans, and Asia, Europe, Africa, and the Americas. So there's only four groups of.
Aboriginal from Australia.
Well, that would be well, I would call that Americas because that's indigenous. So I'm just saying there's only four major groups of people on this planet, and
No, you're mistaken. If you really want to go by scientific, if you really want to go by scientific, it's four. That's correct. It's Negroids are Eurocaucasoid, Mongoloidans. The fourth one is the Aboriginal, whatever else like Australian Aboriginal. That's it.
so America is a melting pot of only four types of humans.
No, there's no fourth present in America. There's only three.
What do you mean? We have Africans, we have Europeans, and we have Asians, and then we have the natives, which are essentially the Aboriginal.
No. The Native Americans are partly Mongoloid and Caucasian. They're the same population group. Their haplogroup is from the same haplogroup that Indo-Europeans came from, haplogroup P. So, like the Native Americans and
No way. There's no European ancestry mixed into Native Americans in the United States.
I'm talking about human population migration, dude. You have to look into Y-DNA, like your haplogroups. You do know that we have 23 chromosomes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that? So every man has their own Y-DNA, right? And the Native American DNA, Y-DNA is called Q, and they are related into the Indo-European art, right? So actually, Semitic people are more distant than Native American to Indo-Europeans.
I couldn't follow the last part there. There was just too much information for me to hold in my mind.
Like regardless, there's only 3 major races in America. There's no fourth one. The fourth one is only in Australia. The fourth one is only like the Papua New Guinean Australian natives.
I see. So what we're arguing about is how much cream you put in your coffee. I understand.
But back to the topic, Islam is based. Islam is a based religion. It doesn't allow liberal bullshit to
Yeah, and I think I've thought that often for a while that Islam is the most conservative of all religions because it's, it can result in a beheading. So I feel like that's the big comedy portion of the whole drama because, well, anyways, it's just, it's people don't see what's coming with Islam, and that's to me the funniest part about it, especially when you see liberal LGBTQ obese women with purple hair cucking for free Palestine and end the genocide, because they will obviously be killed off and culled off in Islam because it is a hyper masculine, focused, centered religion. I've been to the Middle East many times. I've been in households with men that have multiple wives. But the irony is, a lot of those men that have multiple wives, they may have money, but they themselves are still effeminate. They're not like some Islamic warlord fighter, running 4 asses in the house. I mean, so that's to me the kind of the funny thing because an Arab man is actually very Frenchified. He's very
Yeah,
effeminate.
but they went through. They're going through the era of decadence for a while now, right? So yeah, the Middle Easterners are experiencing the same things we are because of the oil money.
Yeah, it has become a society of people who lay on the couch and they're just couch potatoes.
Like the rich princeling soul.
There are a lot of people who may suggest the man who takes 4 wives could in fact just be in the closet, hence he's effeminate, right? If you are justifying your sexuality by taking 4 wives, what does it suggest? You're overcompensating for something.
No, it's way. Do you mind if I say something about that, Gio?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so because my grandfather had 5, but he divorced 1. Right, you're only allowed to have 4 at the same time. I don't know if you guys know the term concurrent versus consecutive, right? Like concurrent is when you do it at the same time, so you have 4 wives at the same time versus 4 partners, like in different times, maybe even slightly overlapping. That's the Western style of more dating. So what's the difference between someone having 4 wives at the same time, taking care of their children financially, right, with women who agree to be like this, versus someone who might have like 30 partners in the span of like a couple of years? I'm not against promiscuity or anything, but like I don't know if you also notice that the Middle East is very, very slut phobic and they don't play around with that stuff, right? And then second thing is that they don't also do interest. So this punishes exactly what Gio said, the merchant class, the ones that live in the Gulf now. And now they're trying to turn Dubai, and it bothers me with Saudi Arabia specifically because like, why can this one place be religious? Make Iran into the friggin', brothel for all I care. They actually want it. Why? Just leave the Saudi Arabia alone. You understand? Because it's the only place we have. I don't give a shit about the UAE and stuff, but yeah, those are the merchant capitalist Muslims. You see what I'm saying? Who were restricted because you can't. Interest is haram, right? Like it's forbidden. You can't do that. So this is why they're attacking Islam so bad. Yeah, they're attacking Islam because we are anti-capitalist. We don't do that interest stuff. Slut phobic. And lastly, they take care of their kids. 4 wives with men who financially don't hide their illegitimate children, none of that rapper stuff that's going on. what's wrong. It's very open in your face. It's very, very adult, and I respect it. Because what's the point of the illegitimate children? I actually think men who have children with women are simps. Let her know. What the hell? And take care of your kids. Because you already have them, right? The hell are you letting this one woman control everything? So no, Han, the opposite. You guys are the ones that are the simps. No offense. The ones in the West.
Well, you know, I'm just merely suggesting there are a lot of closeted homosexuals. This is the only country which doesn't have a homosexual community. So you have to ask yourself, you know, look at US. What is the percentage? In UAE, it's probably zero, right?
So funny.
So imagine how many closet bears you have, right? Many, I would no doubt.
Well, you know, I looked through a girl's Hinge and Bumble account. She let me look on her phone once, and I was shocked at how many women were hitting her up for sex and how many women she was corresponding with. So within the female population, even in Muslim countries, there's a lot of hot lesbian action going on amongst a lot of hot Muslim women. And I gotta say, you know, when you see a beautiful Muslim girl eating out another girl's ass and she's wearing a burqa and you can't even see it, but you know what they're doing underneath that veil, like that's hot. That's sexy Islam. They kicked me.
They know that with the condition they live in, this ain't how God created them to be. But you got the majority of them that are okay with just getting the crumbs we give them, and they'll call it success. They'll argue against them, and they'll never become united to even have a chance of being successful as a nation in this captivity. Because we got individuals that's successful. We got a bunch of rich niggas. That's what white folk call them, rich niggas.
Which also he went and made proclamation.
Did you-
The spirits now in.
Did you hear what happened? Did you see what happened?
What? What did they say?
I said, did you just kick him? And then Gio was like, yes, he said something disgusting. And I said, but why would you kick him just because he said something that you don't like? And he said, are you next? I said, why would you threaten to kick me just for asking for clarification about the rules of your moderation strategy? And then it said, move from the room.
It's a funny game, man. I love this game. You know, I see people that go to the casino and they just sit there for hours. They lose hundreds or thousands, playing slot machines. I'm just like, man, if they knew how you could have fun, like on the internet, like interactive communication.
Getting kicked out of a room. You won $50, but I got kicked out of 50 rooms.
Oh man, I mean, this is a fun game, and it's amazing because like anger management, you know, always does come up, and how people come on here and you just say one thing and then they go ballistic. I mean, that is like a microcosm of their real life. And I went to the bar on Saturday night, and I sat down with this gay guy that I know and this hot chick, and we were smoking weed, having a drink in the patio of this bar. And this fucking big guy comes up to us, like really big, and tattoos up and down. And the guy was a total psychopath, completely insane, like making death threats and saying, really nasty, like a clown house room. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm just sitting there cool as a cucumber, because I'm like, man, if this guy only knew the thousands of conversations I've sat through, and like I don't get angry anymore, So he's like trying to gaslight me, and he's gaslighting everybody at the table. And so, I said, excuse me, I got to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. So I took a piss, and then I just left the bar. You know what I'm saying? So I went to another bar down the street. And to me, I just want to avoid conflict. But like, I wasn't going to cause a fight with this guy. He was like an absolute beast. So, I mean, to me, like, I don't think this is what I came up with, is that people are unaware of their anger. Their anger is in control of them. They are not in control of their anger on this app. And I think you can observe that over and over and over again on this app. And Gio's a good example. Christina is actually a good example of someone who's always very even-keeled and nice and fun and pleasant. But, this is a guy who dresses up in a wig and pretends she's a woman, lives in Australia. I mean, we're living in a world of clown ambassadors, clown senators, clown Congress people.
Christina is a man.
Yeah, that's a trans guy. according to some gossipers that spread Lashon Hara. Whether or not that's true, and
That's a hot guy.
she's a great trans. Christina, if you are trans, you are very good at it, especially in the audio spectrum. I mean, obviously we don't know what you look like in the real world because you probably are a guy, so oh wait, read the bio. What does it say? Bio of Christina Marie, sometimes Mary Bancroft Burke, formerly Christy McQueen, Christy Ritchie, Christy Wilson, Christy Berkeley's Clubhouse since 21. Australian lifelong Tennessean, Murfreesboro, born and raised, high school, university, never was Australia. Married to Daniel in a traditional Jewish ceremony, living in Texas, COVID present. What does that mean? COVID present? What? Mom Deborah went to Coffee County Central High School in Tennessee, where she went with Father Stephen.
It's a timeline. She's living in Texas from COVID.
Oh, I see. Everything. Oh, COVID to present. Okay. Everything else said is to fit in your private circles on the app. I hate you, but want you to love me. So this is the person who I think was warning through the leaf. Do you remember the leaf? Is that you, Christina? You're the same.
No, what's the leaf?
The leaf. There were two profiles that popped up on here that were just chat warriors, and they never spoke, and then they disappeared. Yeah, that's the person. So this person outs Christina as being a man. And I gotta say, like, the voice really does sound like a woman. So it's super hard to tell that cutesy bootsy Australian voice is actually a guy who comes on here and just it's like the guy never says anything intelligent. It's always like, oh, I thought that. So it's like that person must be recording it or creating content out of this app. I mean, why else would they come here and just like, it's a guy. If Christina down there is correct, and I think that no one would waste.
Wait tables. Sorry.
Yeah, I was a server.
So what I learned when I was waiting tables, and you've probably learned this many times in your life, but waiting tables is one. Like I worked breakfast at a diner. I was there 6 a.m. And I realized that there are some people, a lot of people in society, who have zero social interaction. Their only social interaction all day was
server. Yeah.
That's it, or a bartender,
Yep.
or the coffee shop.
Yep.
And you're saying they must be recording it, they must be making content. I'm saying to you, I think you underestimate how lonely people are.
Oh, I see.
It's meeting needs for them, even if they're not making money. It's meeting a need. I mean, that's honestly no homo. I mean, I like you I want to be your friend. I like your personality, but I also just like listening to human voices. So sometimes I listen to podcasts, sometimes I listen to audiobooks, sometimes just my friend John talking, reading Rumi. It's like, oh, it makes me feel less alone. Like, that's the truth.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I don't really feel alone, because I have dependents, I guess, and I don't have children, but I'm saying, like, I have tenants, and then I have friends that I really don't even care to even see again. That relationship, there's a saying, it's like every relationship has a beginning and an end. And I have friends that, like, I don't need to experience ever again because I have fully experienced them. Like, I know their personalities in and out.
Another teenage girl saying that I really like is people come into your lives for a reason, or a season, or a lifetime. And sometimes they're just there for a reason. And then you learn the lesson. It's like, all right, got it. Thank you.
I say friends for life. Like, I would help anybody that I know. I don't know one person that I wouldn't help if they sincerely ask me for help. But nobody's going to come to me and ask for help, like, ever. Occasionally somebody asks you for something, but it's, like, very rare.
You already helped me. Did you see my message on Instagram that I sent you?
No, not yet. I have 50 phones over here.
Yeah, you got a bunch of phones. But I wanted to tell you, I just did a mushroom walk the other day.
Oh, nice.
And as I was driving into the parking lot to lead my walk, I thought, fuck, I forgot the wisdom books. And then I thought of your suggestion, I'm taking that to heart. And I decided that I'm going to get a bunch of pocket-sized wisdom books and just put them in the glove compartment of my truck. And that way I'll never forget them ever again. And when I'm going out to lead a walk, just which book, just grab it. Tao Te Ching or Balthasar, Grecian, or who. So I wanted to ask you for other recommendations.
You can just Google on your phone quotes by Lao Tzu, Tao Te Ching, and just read Lao Tzu Tao Te Ching quotes.
Well, I have a pocket-sized Tao Te Ching, and I could just do the Tao every time, but I thought it'd be nice to just switch it up. And Rumi, you were reading a lot of Rumi the last few days, and I really liked it. And I don't
Rumi's
think I have
good.
any Rumi.
If
I don't
you
think I have any books by him.
if you want something probably more personal for you as opposed to like for the audience in the forest, you should get, I think, yeah, is it Balthasar Gracian? But it's like a maxims and aphorisms books. There's lots of maxims and aphorisms books. I have gone on eBay.
Oh yeah. I actually have some good ones. Yeah, just a compilation of different
Mm-hmm.
people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
What's it
quotations.
called? A Calendar of Wisdom by Tolstoy. Do you know that one?
Mm-mm.
Now you would like that. Leo Tolstoy said that this was his most important book,
Oh wow.
and it was the last book that he wrote, and it was more important than all of his novels, and it was just a compilation book. It's a calendar of wisdom, so it has 365 days, and you open it up to like September 23rd, and there's quotes for the day. I could go find it.
Yeah, let me see if I can find it on eBay.
Maybe I should. Go Google a calendar of wisdom September 23rd, and it will probably pull up today, and then you can read the wisdom of today.
You know, this is why Jews do the Torah portion. Oh, Calendar of Wisdom, nice. That book's only $8.
It's a good one. Yeah, my friend of mine got it for me 20 years ago, and
Oh wow, look at that! I thought you were a complete incompetent. Now I learned that you're a wise Talmud Chacham and a Jewish sage, Rabbeinu Shalom.
I read the Tao Te Ching when I was 16.
Well, I mean, reading it once, you know, like it's still mesmerizing, but to, you know, I mean, it's not like that complicated. It's probably the simplest version of the program, you know, because I
Right,
really
but you
do.
got to do it every day.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that's what my Maimonides said. Okay, I just bought that book. It has been a fun morning on this app. I have trolled and gotten a lot of laughs, man. I can bring a smile to black people's face because I think after, you know, they hear my routine, then they go, "Was that a white guy doing that?" They start giggling like they, you know, I have made a lot of people laugh, but you know, I probably made a lot of people cry on this app too. My nigga.
You made me very sad that one day when you didn't want to listen to my poem.
I think that was also one of the reasons why I did it because I wanted to like see you gotta understand like I have been through in the military like you get just raped, you know what I'm saying? And so like what I'm trying to do is like constantly trying to prove to people, well, I'm trying to prove that your anger is in control of you. You are not in control of anger. Anger is like something that lives outside of you. And so if you know, it's there. It's a word, but people become angry and it's like
I had this moment yesterday. I was in a yoga. You ever do Bikram yoga? I've told you about this before. You've done it, I think.
yeah, I've done Bikram.
Bikram is different from normal yoga. It's like a different type of yoga. And you need the mirror. So in the Bikram studio, in most yoga studios, you line up. There's the teacher at the front of the room, and you're looking at everybody's ass while everybody does the pose. But in the Bikram room, you don't line up looking at the teacher. There's no teacher at the front of the room. You line up side to side, and everybody's looking at a mirror, looking at themselves. And the worst thing is when somebody sets up right behind you or right in front of you, they're new to the practice and they don't understand that they need to see the mirror, and so they're thinking they're going to copy you, and then you have to tell them, oh no, you really want to see the mirror here. But anyway, there was a new woman there, and she was having a really hard time, and sometimes when people are having a hard time I can tell it's their first time in the yoga room, and she was standing not right behind me, but she was behind me and to the right, so she could still see the mirror, but she could also see me. And I started doing like easier versions of the pose to try to show her, because the teacher's like talking you through the extreme version of the pose. She's like trying to match the extreme version of the pose, but she's like a fat, bald lesbian with tattoos. And I was thinking like, oh, I'm going to help this fat lesbian with tattoos. I'm going to show her the easy version of the postures. And then I noticed that there was one moment where like I was doing something, she copied me. I was like, okay, good. But then I saw that she copied another lady who was doing it wrong. And in my head, I thought, all right, she doesn't want to copy me because she's a fat lesbian and I'm a man. she hates men. And then in that moment, also, I thought, all right, it's been 20 minutes. I've been thinking about this fat lesbian. I've been trying to help this random stranger. I haven't been focusing on myself at all. I have been completely neglecting my own practice. And in that moment, I decided to stop thinking about her and focus on myself, which seemed to be the healthy conclusion. And I also wrote in my little yoga diary at the end of the class, if somebody has a problem with you, it is their problem. And if you have a problem with someone else, it is your problem. So I was like making up this story in my head about how this lesbian didn't want to copy me because she hates men. And then I realized, if she hates men, it's her problem. And me, the fact that I'm thinking about her right now is my problem, and I should stop thinking about her. That's my anecdote from yoga class from yesterday.
Yeah, that's why I say it's a you problem.
Right, I realized that it was a me problem. And I was like, okay, 20 minutes have gone by. I've been thinking about this fat lesbian. This is a me problem. This is not a her problem. I'm not going to think about her anymore.
Well, another big problem is the sticky hair baby problem, where once somebody says something to you, it's lodged in your brain's web and you can't get it out, and it's causing a major disturbance and generally making you very, very angry. And that's readily observable when you observe word communication play. At the bar on Saturday, this big giant beast of a guy said to this beautiful girl who was at the table with the gay guy that I know, he pissed her off so bad she started crying. She yelled something at him and then walked off. And so then later I came back to that bar, and I go back to the bar and I'm sitting with her and she's touching me and like cuddling with me. And then this other girl I know at the bar, she's a total neurotic and a word blabber. You know, she just won't shut up. And so eventually the two of them get into it, and then finally the girl who was like into me, who looked like Marissa Tomei, got up, walked out of the bar, flicked off the other crazy chick at the table, and said, "You're a fucking neurotic. You're fucking crazy. Fuck you," and walked out. And I'm sitting there just like, ah, damn it. I was like, fuck. And so then the crazy neurotic word blabber.
Yeah, the fuck the crazy one.
Well, that one is like a 45-year-old. She's a pretty woman, you know, in her category, but I'm just not interested in her. And so I go to this other late night bar, a 4 a.m. bar, and she's there. And so she sits down at my table again, and she talked my ear off, and I actually started falling asleep while she was talking to me. And you know, she likes me because I listen to her, you know, but I obviously she's got terrible problems. I mean, she's got two.
This is the hot one or
the hot older neurotic one. She's got 2 kids, and she's telling me how her son just recently tried to strangle her. I was like, maybe, and I told her, I was like, look up the Tao Te Ching. It's an incredible book on psychology. And so she's like, okay, I'm going to buy it. So she bought it, and then we went outside and smoked a joint, and then these 2 hot chicks came up to us, and they're like, are you smoking a joint? Can we smoke your joint? And then, you know, so that's the thing. It's like a wing woman is better than a wing man, you know? But what I'm trying to say is, like, old John would have gotten angry with this woman and been like, yeah, you are fucking crazy. Go fuck yourself. But it turns out that if you just let people, you know, be themselves and talk and not get angry with them, they actually like you.
Exactly. That is fundamental. That is the bottom line.
Yeah. That's what's happening on this app, and there's a guy on here who like is constantly trying to talk about how a proper debate should happen and how nobody should be angry and this and that. I'm like, but bro, you never say anything. You're just always talking about how communication works. His name is like Hez or something. He's like a young African American guy. But anyways, I'm just saying that like from a psychological. No, not Acek. No, that guy's kind of funny too. But from a psychologist's perspective, this app is a treasure trove of the mind, and no one is aware of that. It's like if everybody understood the Diddy psychology of self, because in that Diddy, have you seen the Diddy YouTube yet? Let me get you the link. You will actually like this because you can see how self-actualization can become dangerous. And this is what people always warn about mysticism, is that you can get inflation and thus become a criminal psychopath like Diddy.
I just want to say for the record, I never
I never really disliked him because I never paid him any attention. I just thought he was just another one of the N-word celebrity, music, and there's so many of them.
Right.
But I didn't know that he was as big as he was because of Death Row Records and.
What about Lil Wayne? You know about Lil Wayne kissing his manager on the lips?
Did you see the video of Diddy French kissing his mother?
No.
That is a very creepy,
Did you
cringe
see the
video.
video I made of me French kissing your mother last night, by the way?
Mm-mm.
Diddy French kissing mother. A resurfaced video from 2022 shows Diddy kissing his mother on the lips. Kissing his mom on the lip. Alright, give me a kiss. Alright, there's no tongue. I don't see any tongue. That one, there's no tongue.
Close enough.
Which video is there tongue? Is there a video of him eating his mother out?
Listen, you know what else I have discovered in word communication play? That creating fake news is honestly one of the funniest freedom of speech, like Babylon B.
Created that.
Well, he kissed her, but it wasn't like a ton of tongue, but who kisses the mom on the lip? That was still juice transfer, though. That was still spit transfer. Come on now. That's still technically close enough.
This video, did you see the video of this young Jewish guy? Okay, there was a Jewish guy going around asking questions that were like ridiculous. I gotta find this video, but the only ones I remember, like, he went up to people, I think it was New York City, and he went up to like man on the street, New York City. He's like, "Hey, did you hear? Al Jazeera just released a new article that Benjamin Netanyahu is actually the grandchild of Adolf Hitler." And everybody's like, "Oh, really?" And he's like, "Yeah, isn't that crazy?" And they're like, "Yeah, that's crazy." And then he's like, just fooling them, like, "Hey, did you hear that Israel wants to turn the Gaza Strip into an amusement park with roller coasters and cotton candy?" And it just shows that you can make up any news story. Did you hear that this guy Chris Eurostar is a N-word F-word? Did you hear that?
From what?
Yeah, the guy Eurostar, Chris, the House member, he's an F-word. Total N-word F-word. I read it online.
I lost you there.
I'm just joking because this guy Chris, I was just joking. It was like, "Oh, you heard my friend John Katover? He's actually a transgender. Did you know that? I read it online."
I'm a transgender psychologically, not physically. And that is what a lot of people dislike about me. They hate the fact that I am trans, but I don't represent as trans. It's all in my mind. That's where it lives.
That's true. You're psychologically trans. You're trans mental. Transmental meditation.
Listen, the government has been paying me monthly because I am a trans in my mind. Is everybody raising their hand because they want to come up and say something?
I just invited them.
Oh, I see.
Invite to speak.
So if you click the link above, you can watch Diddy dressed up as a clown. And so his YouTube and his X are just full of content, but his YouTube has all these celebrities in it, like Mark Wahlberg. And I guarantee you right now, Mark Wahlberg's like, "Man, I wish I could talk to Diddy so I could tell him to just delete the videos of me on his YouTube." They all must be like, "Man, we gotta get Diddy's phone to get him to delete YouTube, man. This is terrible." Like, he basically was running, he's doing what I'm doing, but with Clown House. You see what I'm saying? All my recordings. He recorded all these celebrities for public distribution, but also for private. All the freak offs. So Diddy is like next level psychopath to the highest extent possible. And
You know what I was? It's my bad.
so I'm just trying to say that the media is not reporting on it in the sense that he's connected to Kamala, Obama, Clinton, and so many people in the Democrat Party, that all of his recordings are actually blackmails to get them to fall in party line. And, no one can accept this as being the truth, but the proof is in the pudding. And when you look at his YouTube, it's just so obvious that he was using videos to control the narrative, to control people. And when you mix it with drugs and freak offs and homosexual behavior, you're with young black prostitutes. I mean, your business is so crazy. Like, how did Diddy just wake up in the morning and he's just like, man, I feel great. Like that's the craziest thing about humans.
I read a book the other day. Well, I listened to it on audiobook. I wonder if I told you about this already. I read a book called "The 5 Types of People That Will Ruin Your Life," and it's about high conflict personalities. Didn't I already tell you about this?
No, I never heard
I
this.
might have spoken about it on Clubhouse to somebody else, but high conflict personalities, and it really actually helped me. It helped simplify like mental illness in a way, because I've read different books about mental illness. Like I read a book a couple of years ago called The Sociopath Next Door, and it said that 1 out of 25 Americans is actually a verifiable sociopath. 1 out of 25 Americans is a sociopath.
It's got to be higher than that though.
Well, listen, you think, but listen to this. So then in the high conflict book, it really simplified it. He went through 5 different types of mental illness. It was like narcissism, antisocial personality disorder, borderline. There were some other ones. But he breaks it down. He says, look, forget about all that. 1 out of 10 people, 1 out of 10 is a high conflict person. This is cross-cultural. This is cross-genders. 1 out of 10 people is a high conflict individual, and he talks about how they invent or they select various targets of blame. And so what you really want to avoid is you want to avoid becoming the target of blame of a high conflict individual. Think about your time as a landlord. Think about some tenant where you're like, oops, I have a psycho tenant. Now they won't leave. Now I have to get them evicted. Now they're trashing the house. Now they're taking me to court. This is a crazy person. I did nothing wrong. I was targeted by a high conflict individual who, you know. And anyway, it just made me think that you were asking how can people do such horrible things and wake up every morning and say I feel great. And this high conflict individual book helped me understand. Like when I was an anarchist, when I was a Marxist communist teenager, that's coming from a place of oh my bad. Did you get bored? I thought you got bored in the middle.
No, I don't know. I clicked off somehow.
That would be true to your character too, to be like, all right, I'm bored.
No, I agree with you, but this is actually a high value intelligence conversation, so
Okay.
I wouldn't just. And plus, I'm putting this on X as anger, high conflict personality.
Okay, nice. Well, I think the part that you missed was just my punchline, where I was tying it back to what you said, where you said, how can people do horrible things? Like, how can Diddy do horrible things, and his whole business is horrible, and he wakes up every day and he feels great. And I was saying that did you hear that when I was a Marxist, it was coming from a place of believing that people are good? And I think that actually you shouldn't believe that people are good. You should believe that people are animals. And if we have some cultural ideal of goodness or peacefulness or controlling your anger or not being controlled by your anger, people have to learn that stuff. And 1 out of 10 ain't gonna learn it.
Well, I just look at Diddy as being like your PTR, like an N-word, F-word, high on LSD, shrooms, cocaine, marijuana, ecstasy, Ciroc, and whatever his tequila is, and a high-functioning criminal psychopath just in the public, filming and being an influencer and a mouthpiece for the Democrats. And I mean, he has said horrific things, terribly racist things about how white devils lynched the founders of Black Wall Street. The guy he's a racist, and he hates white people. He's a black extremist, and Isaac Hayes, who runs that app Fanbase, who claims that this is a white person app and a Jew app and things like that.
I don't know about that.
So Isaac Hayes has Fanbase. He does these multi-million-dollar raises through crowd sharing, and then he comes on here and has arguments with Nelson Apega,
He's
who
not the Isaac. He's not the black Isaac that I know, the Christian.
no, you can look this guy up.
He's somebody else. Okay.
Isaac
Hayes.
Isaac Hayes, yeah, and he even knows Diddy, and he's shitting on Diddy on his ex. So everybody is like using content for their own fodder to essentially progress their own platform or their own, business endeavor. But anyways, I mean, to me, the Diddy story is the biggest thing. If this guy gets out of jail, it'll be a total indictment of the entire judicial system and political connection. I mean, Sam Bankman-Fried didn't evade jail, and he was the second largest donor to the Democratic Party, but beneath George Soros. And it wasn't even his money. He was just that is another example of somebody who, like, it's like a fucking miracle. Like, how did Sam Bankman-Fried all of a sudden become worth like $200 million out of fucking thin air? You know what I'm saying? And then what did he do with it? He just spent it all and lived the craziest life you could imagine. Completely irrational, totally insane. And everybody just kept calling him out. I mean, they kept putting him on CNBC over and over and over again. And it was like watching somebody with autism pretend to be a genius and like live in the ride or the wave. A lot of people who get a lot of money end up dying because they're not the geniuses that they thought they were. I mean, you can die randomly, but when it's a self-inflicted wound and you're worth $800 million, there's an intelligence that was never there to begin with. There's an expression that says, what you bring into the gymnasium, don't be surprised if that's what you carry out of the gymnasium. So that's a philosophical, like a Stoic Socrates type saying. I think that's Epictetus. Anyways, the point is there's two major topics which are of importance and interesting, which is self-actualization, or the concept that we are God in drag, and then the danger of inflation, especially criminal psychotic mania like Diddy. And then the second, outside of the self, is anger management. And so all of my readings, all the books that I have, it's always talking about ethics, morality, character. And so it says over and over again, Maimonides to Socrates, if someone has anger, they are not a sage. They are not a wise person. And so that means that you are in acceptance of the simulation, your lot in life. Just imagine being in Nigeria right now in a mud hut, and some Boko Haram commander has you and your sister entrapped in his little security village, and you're a Christian and you're praying to Jesus for deliverance. And then some French paratrooper comes in and fucking knifes that guy's throat and frees these two, African Christian girls abducted from school, 8 months ago in some other fucking rainforest village. Like, your circumstances are, everyone's are their own in this crazy reality simulation. But what I'm saying is, through books and knowledge and information and communication, like, the most amazing thing is these cell phones, because this really does give you the ability to project and be self-centered in maybe a less toxic but healthier way, meaning that you don't have to go anywhere anymore. You don't even need to drive a car. If you have a voice, you can basically distribute yourself through these cell phones in a way which is completely impossible otherwise. So everything you're doing, in my opinion, from a business professional level, even your walks, you should be on Clown House on a walk. You should have a YouTube channel of every walk. I film a lot of musicians, and then after the musician usually goes to the bar, I come up to them and say, "Hey, I just filmed you. Would it be okay if I put it on YouTube?" They're like, "Oh my God, you filmed me? Oh my God, why did I think of that?" It's like, because you don't think. It's like, why are you doing anything unless you're filming it? This is all for distribution. This is a commodity. This is a product. Most people just are not aware of the communication paradigm, the network, the circuit, and they're wasting their energy and their talent by not producing videos. Rolling Stones, the Beatles, 100 bands, 5,000 bands, they all have catalogs, libraries of content, records. And all these words are just like simplistic words, but it's all just databases. It's all product. It's commercialization. Anyways, so the Intel Incels room with Geo, incels can provide you with a treasure trove of information. They're basically like monks, they do not fuck because they cannot fuck. They're Hindu dindus. I know a lot of brown guys that can never get laid. Um, Not because they're not awesome, cool guys. It's because white women really are bitch racists. There's a lot of bitches out there. And I mean, you don't have to be a white woman bitch racist. You could be a Latina bitch racist. You could be a hot Asian bitch racist. Hot people are just racist. I don't know. Do you ever notice that?
Hot people are racist.
I mean, it's not true. Some hot people are very, self-actualized. That's the thing about a super hot chick or a super ugly chick. If we are all God in drag, I guess the ugly fatty is still angry, but not as angry as the hottie. The hottie has transcended above mere mortals in society. I don't know. I'm really running at the mouth now. But anyways.
I think it's hard to be ugly. I feel bad for ugly people. I definitely feel. Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't have compassion. See, that's the thing about your yoga experience. It's like you wanted to help her because you're like, oh, I'm a nice person and I can sacrifice a little time for her. And then she didn't even appreciate it. And then you realized, fuck, like, what the fuck? And then you're like, okay, gotta go back to me. Um, what I'm also saying is that in terms of Nietzschean will to power or Machiavellian political and power strategy, America and the world is really wide open for however diabolical you can be. And so I'm not saying I want to go into diabolics, but like Diddy is the perfect example of someone who is a diabolical, sinister human being. And it's just there. So it's like he is a black Epstein. He was running his own honeypot operation in the same way that Epstein was doing it. Maybe on behalf of Israel or maybe on behalf of the CIA or both. But Diddy was also doing it with CIA. Diddy was also see that's the thing is like honeypots are real. And if the CIA doesn't want to get their hands dirty and some federal employee doesn't want to be connected to running a honeypot, they do it with Diddy or they do it with Hugh Hefner at the Playboy Mansion. So this is real. And, Alex Jones has been going on and on about this forever. And then even Joe Rogan's like, yeah, when Alex Jones told me that the world is run by a bunch of secret cult sex pedophile, I think you told me the other day, like, I never believed any of this stuff. I mean, I couldn't, when I see Michelle Obama speak, I'm like, yeah, that's a woman. Everybody's crazy. This is conspiracy. But then after so many years of all this LGBTQ conditioning, I'm just like, man, maybe that really is a chick with a dick.
That's exactly what happened to me. It just feels, yeah, it was completely like, I think that we have been taken advantage of, like our generosity of thought, like philosophical generosity has been taken advantage of, and so I'm kind of out of breath here. I think in general, like, it all seemed logical up to a point. It's the same logic about, I always thought about why you don't bring weed on the plane. Now weed is legal, so it's like easier. But it used to be, you don't bring weed on the plane because you're probably not going to get caught. But if you do get caught, it's really going to fuck up your shit. You're going to miss your plane, maybe you get arrested. So it's just not worth it. Just don't bring weed on the plane.
Well, I brought weed with me on the plane once, a dugout, and the TSA agent takes the dugout out of my backpack because I think I was so stupid that I had a screwdriver in my backpack or I had some type of metal object. I can't remember what it was. She takes my dugout out, the TSA agent, holds it up in the air, and then I'm like staring at her hand with my dugout in the air, and then she lowers her hand and she puts it back out into my hand. I said, "Thank you." And then she's like, "You're free to go." I was like, "Wow, did I just have a total?"
That's amazing.
Yeah, I was like, "This is the high," and I was super high, and I was, smoking.
When was that though? Was it recent?
No, you're like 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Okay. Yeah, that's very cool.
And you couldn't actually even open the dugout, which was the funniest thing. It's like they couldn't even turn it to see what was in it. Because I had it stuffed so much. You had to really, really wrench it. But anyways, yeah, I mean, I've had close calls, but like, being cool and knowing what to say or having a good backstory has always cleared the cache.
Right. And my point, tying it to the whole other thing, was just that for a long time it seemed logical, calling people by their pronouns, indulging, okay, George Floyd, he didn't deserve to die. It all seemed logical. But then at some point, some cracks started creeping in, and now I'm looking basically at everything that I believed and thinking maybe Michelle Obama is a man. I don't know. Could be.
Yeah. I mean, Joan Rivers, see, that's the thing. If you're in Hollywood and you know how fabulous people are, Joan Rivers, like, everybody knows it's a fucking man. Come on.
I know she was dead 3 days later.
She died of a plastic surgeon, just like Yee's mother died. Did you know Yee's mom died getting breast implants?
I didn't know that. I didn't know that Yee's mom needed bigger titties at that stage in her life.
Yeah, it's a shame. And Yee separated himself from Diddy. I don't know if I took screenshots of it, but like Diddy posted screenshots of his text conversation with Diddy. Yee did, and I was like, well, who's he even talking?
What did he say?
He's like, "Be gone, nigga," and like, "Find your own." He's like, "Be gone," like go. The way he talks is so funny, and yeah, it was a crazy text conversation. I saved it.
I saw I saw a video of Yee the other day. I like him. What do you think? Do you think he took it up the ass too? He resisted.
It's a very good question. I feel like Yee may have fucked somebody in the ass, but like to take it up your ass, that's like that's basically submissive activity. So, everybody who got a record deal with Diddy took it up the ass. And like he even said to 50 Cent, he's like, "Why don't we party?" He said, "What you mean party?" He's like, "Yeah, let me take you shopping." He's like, "Take me shopping." The fuck? Motherfucker.
I was gonna ask if you went to a party and then it turned out to be a freak off.
I've never been to a freak off. I've never seen an orgy. I've never been in an orgy.
But what if you went to a party and it turned out to be a freak off and they said you can have sex with every beautiful woman in here, but
It's all filmed.
first, I'm gonna fuck you in the ass.
No, of course not. I mean, that's insane. So if I was invited to a party where they said, "Hey, like this is all gonna be filmed, but you can have sex with every chick in the room," and but there was no homosexual behavior allowed, I'd have to think about that, and I'd say, well, let me see who's going, and then I'd have to figure out whether or not having my image published, and what is the downside to that. So OnlyFans is a multi-billion-dollar organization. I don't know what its market cap would be if it was publicly traded, but you could do a valuation of OnlyFans at probably like 50 billion, 40 billion, 100 billion, who knows? Because look, X was bought at 40 billion. They lost all advertisers. Do you know there's like no advertisers on X? It's like infomercials and that's it. Like small time little media buyers and a lot of like Elon Musk loyalists, but they lost every single major advertiser that was on this platform, and they were only spending a very small percentage of their overall spend on X as opposed to Google, Facebook. Google is the biggest media buying platform on the planet, and after that it's Facebook. So X is still is like been revalued at 20 billion, and Elon owns almost 80% of the company, and so he's footing the bill for all of this every single day. And you can listen to him talk about it at 6, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, sometimes going all night long. Sometimes the guy doesn't go to sleep. He'll get 2 hours of sleep and he'll be like, "I feel fucking amazing." Like he is, I think that this whole thing depends on the election, because if Trump wins, X wins. If Kamala wins, X loses. And they are going to deplatform X from Google and Apple. That's the power of Kamalism. They will censor X. They don't need to censor anything else because everything else is already censored except X. X is the only platform that's open for free speech. And, it's an amazing thing to see free speech in action. A lot of people talk about free speech, but they never say anything controversial. So, free speech protects controversy and the discussion of it. And I'm having a great time being Adrian Dittman. And Elon has literally blocked me multiple times now. Like suspended my accounts, blocked my accounts. He doesn't want to hear from me. He doesn't want to see me because I have published him on YouTube. He took my website down. How does Elon Musk get my website removed? It's crazy, but he got my website deleted, adriandittman.com. He actually got the whole domain deleted. Nothing renders. And I had it on Verizon's Tumblr. So he got Verizon Tumblr to take my fucking website down with ICANN. That's the extent to which Elon Musk is pissed with me, which I think is great news. That means I'm getting to him, you know? And I don't know. I'm trying to, you know, get Trump elected. I'm just doing political free speech activity. I should be getting paid to do this by some think tank or some PAC. You know, I should reach out. See, this is the thing is like you know, I'm just happy. Like if Trump wins, I'll be so happy. If he loses and Kamala becomes president, I'll still be happy. But I don't want to become like an ultra resistance person, you know, because then that wastes my opportunity cost. I mean, politics just never ends, though. That's the exciting thing. It just keeps going. Isn't that kind
I was looking at my music page, listening to some of my music that I haven't released in a while, but some of my old music, and I was listening to an album from, I think I released it in 2017, and on the album description, it says, like to my audience, like I wrote this, it says, "Hey, I'm sorry I haven't released very much music lately. I'll have some anti-Trump shit soon." That was in like 2017, and I was like, the resistance, I was like, it's just so funny looking at that now and thinking about even the music that I make. I don't know if you don't follow me on TikTok? Are you on TikTok?
I am, but I don't follow anyone on TikTok.
Okay, well, I have some music on TikTok that's new, just playing, just like little verses that I was playing with, and it's fun, and they're all, none of them are about activism, none of them are about politics, none of them are about rewilding or ending civilization, and it's very freeing to step into that space, but it still is so uncomfortable for me because it wasn't until I was like 34 that I even started thinking that way, and up until that, from 16 to 33, it was like, you know, just pick your average clubhouse moron, and that was me.
Well, I mean, that's the thing is you just have to recognize how conditioned you are. But the truth is, I mean, Alan Watts says, you know, politics is like sleeping. You start on the right, you get tired of that. You lay on your back, you get tired of that. So you go to your left, you get tired of that. And then you roll all the way around and the whole thing becomes full circle. So life is a dance. And one of the reasons why you wanted to help that fat lesbian in the yoga class was because you enjoy the dance. And you're like, oh, this poor fat fucking dyke, she can't enjoy the fucking dance. Oh, I just want to help her a little bit. Then she tried to bite your hand off and you're like, yeah, fuck that bitch. Fucking bitch. So anyways, what I want to play for you is Matt Walsh's Privileged Support Group Gone Wrong. Am I a Racist movie? Because my dad keeps telling me that I have to see it. He says it's the funniest movie ever. So let's listen to a clip. This is on Matt Walsh's YouTube. This was published a month ago.
Hello. Hi. How are you? How are you? Oh, no problem. You good? Yeah. Remind me of your name again.
Steven.
Steven? Yeah? Okay. Do you want to come up?
Come up?
Yeah, do you want to come up and share anything?
Sure. What do you want me to share?
Whatever's on your mind.
I just want to know that, like, my physical safety and yours and everybody else's here is okay.
Why would your physical safety not be okay? Did I miss something?
I don't feel comfortable.
What? Can you guys catch me up to speed on what's going on here?
You don't need to be caught up. We're going to be silent.
Is it because I said I had 17 black friends? It might have been 15. It depends on how you count them.
I would really appreciate it if you left so that the people who actually want to be here and deserve to be here can get what they need.
I do want to be
Can you please leave?
I would like it if you left. I'm trying to learn. I'm on this journey.
Come with me.
Well,
Thank you.
I didn't consent to be touched.
I'm not offering to touch you. I'm offering to walk you out. Will you walk with me and I'll answer your questions?
Okay, I'll admit it. My name's not Steven. Maybe you already knew that. My name is Matt Walsh.
We know.
I just was here on this journey that I'm just starting, but I see that I'm not wanted.
If you were on your journey, then you would have told us who you were, your real name, but you didn't.
Are you saying I need a better disguise? Is that what you?
I don't know, maybe. But you can figure that out as you walk out the door.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. I really had the transformative experience myself. And my pronouns are he, him.
I did everything I could to fit in. I opened up. I was raw and emotional. I told them about my black friends. It was no use. They rejected me, and they called the police. My mere presence in the room caused them pain. I'll never be accepted if I look like this. If they know that I'm Matt Walsh, I'll always be an outsider. I need to go deeper undercover, a whole new identity. If I want to be an ally, I need to look like one. Like someone who is progressive, tolerant, enlightened. Let me think. Have I ever met anyone like that? Ah, yes. Yes, I have. What is a woman?
Why do you ask the question?
So he got this big wig, big beard. Anti-white racism in school. Matt Walsh breaks it down. God, this guy
I
has...
want to see that movie. Do you got any other clips?
Yep. This is called the Moana problem. Am I a racist?
My daughter's 4 years old. I am an anti-racist educator, quote unquote. She's still watching Disney movies, and she is choosing a white princess over princesses of color.
Have you talked to her about that?
All the time.
My 3-year-old daughter is her favorite princess is Moana.
Love it.
It's a good sign.
Yeah.
But then I also thought, there's a little bit of cultural appropriation here. She wants to be Moana for Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we navigate that? Do I go and buy the Pacific Islander native attire for my white 3-year-old?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
But I guess what we might call the Moana problem here is what, on one hand, is cultural appropriation. On the other hand, there's gravitating towards white characters.
Right.
So it's almost like no matter which way you go, you end up back in racism.
We think every space belongs to us because we live in a white supremacist society.
Is America an inherently racist country?
I think the word inherent is challenging there. If we say...
Fundamentally,
yes. America is racist to its bones. All of the...
So inherently.
Yeah.
They gonna say you racist. Am I racist? In theaters September 13th, rated PG-13. Buy tickets now.
Oh, they have the full movie on YouTube now. Holy shit.
Oh, really?
One simple thing to reverse ED they don't want you to know. Here's a life lesson. Don't use your ED.
You know, well, let me see. Maybe it's a trick. Let's see.
एक मिनट और language scam.
Yeah, it's some Indian guy.
Direct bad to blame. English the English.
Damn, this guy's got 18,000 views. He's got Am I a Racist 2024 full movie review and facts. Matt Walsh's. Wow, he's Indian.
So दोस्तों आप भी I Am Restricted movie को पसंद कर.
Dude, that is so funny. So many people speak English, but if you don't speak... So my friend Max, well, he's not really my friend anymore because he doesn't take my calls or call me, but my point is his dad is a world-famous speech therapist, and he teaches people how to speak American English, and it's called Pronunciation Workshop, and it's a big business. Like he actually helps people from all around the world speak American English, and he's been doing it for like 30 years, and he's made a nice living doing it. But when you hear Indians speak English and they know the words, but the way they talk, you hear how like you can flow with English. And Indians, because of Sanskrit or Hindi, it's very difficult to change that pronunciation because you're so hyper conditioned on your database or your words. Anyways, so that was. Let me see if I can find any more clips. Okay, this is called "How Do I Know If I Am a Woman," but I think this is from that movie. Let's see here. Oh, this is the trailer.
Let's be clear what's happening in this country. It's Nazism. Republicans are Nazis. You cannot separate yourselves from the bad white people.
Growing up in the 90s, I never thought much about race. Sure, you noticed, but it never really seemed to matter that much. At least not to me.
Being a white, straight, cisgender man is the top of the pile.
I'm on the top of the pile, that's me. Am I racist?
I would really appreciate it if you left.
I'm trying to learn. I'm on this journey.
Can you please leave?
If I'm going to sort this out, I need to go deeper undercover. If I want to be an ally, I need to look like one.
What is racism?
Martin Luther King said not to judge people by the...
Martin Luther King said a lot of stuff.
Is America inherently racist? What the hell is that?
The word inherent is challenging there. America is racist to its bones. All of the...
So inherently.
Yeah.
The entire system has to burn. And I'm not going to even use save this country. This country is not worth saving. This country is a piece of shit.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
They gonna say I'm racist. Joining us now is Matt, certified DEI expert.
Here's my certification. Where are you guys in your anti-racist journeys? So I'll look around the room and point to who we believe is the most racist person in the room. We want to rename the George Washington Monument to the George Floyd Monument. Would you mind signing it? You will? What do you think about this issue of heteronormativity and how it intersects with the broader structures of racism in society?
They gonna say I'm racist.
What's up with white people? What are you doing to decenter your whiteness?
Who's making it the center? Why are they doing that?
What you're doing is you're stretching out of your whiteness. This is more for you than this for you. White
Folks,
White.
trash, white supremacy, white woman, white boy, white entitlement, centering, white silence.
Is there a black person around here? There's a black person right here. Does he not exist?
They gonna say I'm racist. But they call everybody racist.
Hi, Robin.
Hi. And what's your name?
I'm Matt.
Matt. Hi, Matt.
Nice to meet you.
Just had to ask who you are because you have to be careful.
I'll never be too careful.
They gonna say you racist. But they call everybody racist.
This week I was deeply honored.
Sorry, what?
He got Robin. He got Robin DiAngelo.
I'm not sure who. I've heard that name before. Who is that?
She is the author of White Fragility.
Oh.
The fact that you don't know who she is demonstrates that you are such a fucking white privileged racist piece of garbage.
Well, hold on. Let me see the picture of this woman, and then I can confirm with you whether I know. Anyways, this is called Racism Exposed and Controversial Experiment. 6-minute special. This is Matt Walsh. This is a year ago. So I feel like this movie is really prescient because Clown House has talked about all of these issues and listened to gay men lecture everyone for years now on this app. Do you know who, what's his name? Hurricane Otis is?
Otis, of course.
Yeah.
Otis, the incredibly beautiful F-word N-word.
Yeah, he's a real peach.
He's very, very pretty. I want his body. I would like to possess it.
Okay, listen to this. This is called Am I Racist? Full post-credit scene.
I was just in the other day, and I saw a certain book that I wasn't ready to read at the time, but I think I'm ready. I wanted to see if you guys still have it in stock.
Yeah, what was the title?
It starts with an N. I don't remember the author.
You don't know the title of the book either?
Well, it's because it starts with an N and there's kind of it's like there's a vowel, there's consonants, there's a vowel. It's one word.
I don't know how to look it up without the title or the author.
Well, it's got so it starts with an N and then there's kind of an I there. It's.
I mean, we've got thousands of books. I don't really know how to look it up, just knowing the first two letters.
It's N-I, it's like the N-I, it's a G, it's in there, and there's another one.
Do you want a brief hold and go check? Thanks for holding. I'm not seeing anything. I mean, maybe try to think of the title if you can. And
well, it's no. I know the title. I can't say the title. I don't know. I don't think you can say it either. So I don't. It's a triggering title. It actually rhymes with trigger, actually, and so. But that's what I was wondering if it was there.
I mean, I didn't see it, so I just went and looked.
Okay, but you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
There's that book.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Have a good day.
So, something interesting about dehypnotizing is, I watch a lot of like nature videos now as I'm using Clown House because it's so toxic on here that to watch, a bumblebee go into a flower or two geckos, roaming around a jungle, because you can really do this zoom in photography with artwork. I mean, not with artwork, with natural animals and wildlife, which is so amazing in detail that therapeutically, the images that we see can just improve your mood. So, I think it's important to do that type of like therapy work. And, when you see a lemur with a giant tail just sitting in a tree with a giant nose eating a mango, we are so much like animals. But when we do word hypnosis, we basically we take ourselves out of nature and we take ourselves out of connection with God, which is essentially the all. And I think you don't even need to bring the word God into dehypnosis, because some people will just say, nature is God. But if there is no Yahweh God or some type of a Thor God or a creator God, and that would mean, and if we're not aliens, okay, or there's not some like, super engineer or some type of implant, that means that the earth is intelligent, and the earth, through its own intelligence and biomechanical, genetic, and basically through matter, the earth somehow managed to people, just like an apple tree apples, which is what Alan Watts says. So do you think that is true, Ishmael? I mean, do you think that the earth really is responsible for this conversation?
Have you been looking at my GIFs? Or no, you can't see my GIFs.
Yeah, I can see them, and the gifts even impact my sentiment. So I'm telling you that if you were blind, like if you were to just close your eyes or had to permanently put on blackout sunglasses and you had to live your life blind, and that would basically mean that you're mostly an audio human being now and a touch human being. But because you can no longer see, you spare yourself so much emotional turmoil. What you see impacts your emotions, but what you hear truly impacts your emotions. I wonder if we could test visual versus audio emotions and try to do like a comparison between similar stimuli, where we would show you the image and then we would record emotional feedback, and then then you would hear the image, and then we would record the emotional feedback, and which one creates a bigger emotional response. I would go with words and audio versus sound, but when you combine them, then that's obviously going to have the highest response. And that's why when you watch a movie, your brain goes into the alpha brainwave state or whatever brainwave state that is.
Have you ever read a book called
No.
author
No.
Daniel Quinn.
No, I've never read it.
I already got you to buy one book today. I would give, if you're gonna buy two, if it's not a problem for you to buy two, just go ahead and buy two. If you only have one book of the day and you're like, Zach, I already bought that book, I'm not gonna buy another one. I am